So it's probably no surprise to you that when you create a paper, you need to have a header. Generally, when you create a header for a paper, usually you include your name, your subject title, um, and or your course title, your date, or your period, whatever. In this one, you're not going to be doing that. This is for an actual MLA research paper. It's going to be set a little differently. So normally, I would have you put a header with your name, your like a course title or your subject title and your period. But we're not going to be doing that. So you guys know that a header is a text or graphics that prints at the top of each page, whereas a footer is at the bottom of the page. So we're going to go to Insert, and we're going to go to Header. Now I'm not going to do blank or blank 3 columns or any of that. We're just going to go to Edit Header. So by default, you have our 3 tab stops here. The first one's the left margin. Okay, the second is the center tab, and the third is the right tab. So this will center the text here, this will right align the text here. We don't need to worry about that. What we're going to do is we're going to go and right align. Now, in an MLA paper, we're going to have our last name and then the page number. So my last name is Felt, then we'll do space. Now we're going to start with the page number. Now a common mistake of this is to go to design page number and do top of page because it's the top of the page, right? And put it in the right hand column. Well, look what happens when we do that. It erases my name. We don't want that to happen, so we'll press undo. Go back to page number, current position, and then we're going to go to a plain number. So it should say Felt 1. Now we're going to close header and footer. And now we are going to type the research paper text. So what should you consider when writing the first draft of research paper? You want to make sure that it has the proper components. So you want to make sure that it has your intro paragraph, your body paragraph, your conclusion, your references. You want to make sure in your references you have credible sources. So you shouldn't have like Wikipedia or about.com or something along those lines. You want to make sure that you've researched credible sources, meaning that there's a specific type of credibility that you want to make sure the material should be correct. You shouldn't like in the president's paper, you shouldn't say that Lincoln's still living because obviously that's not true. So make sure you use credible sources and make sure you don't put in any plagiarized material. Now you may have heard that word plagiarism before. It's something to be definitely taken seriously. Plagiarizing is using someone else's work and then claiming it as your own. It's copying, it's cheating, it's unethical. Okay, it's wrong. You don't want, and I'm sure that if someone else took your work and claimed it as their own, you would be offended. So it is against the law. Make sure that you don't do it. It's a crime. It's really an academic crime than anything. And it can have severe punishments. At Countryside, if you are caught plagiarizing, you can get a 0 on your work, and teachers can give out a discipline referral. And what that can do is you can talk to your administrator, and they will give you your consequences. Those consequences can really hurt you. If you have a cheating referral on your academic record or your transcript, that could really hurt you when going into an institution. So you want to make sure that plagiarism is the furthest thing from your mind. I totally get that people have due dates and they have other things on their mind, but you do not want to copy and paste. Make sure you think before you do that. So make sure if you summarize, if you're like, I can't rewrite that, well, rewrite it as best as you can. Rewrite things in your own words. Don't copy and paste. That's the worst thing you can do. Make sure when you're presenting facts and giving statistics, make sure you acknowledge the source. Even a map or chart or graphic, make sure you acknowledge the source. Don't just take from somebody else and not give them credit. So, the one thing though is that you don't have to cite common knowledge. So if the sky is blue, that's common knowledge. You don't have to cite that. Or 1 + 1 is 2. That's common knowledge. The President of the United States is at this time Donald Trump. You don't have to cite that because that's common knowledge. Everyone knows that, or most people know that. The world is round, not flat. That's common knowledge. So, but anything like something along the lines of maybe um, like they're like 90% of all the market share of computers is PCs. Not everyone would know that, so you want to make sure you pull that from somewhere, especially since it's a statistic. So if information is not common knowledge, or you don't think it's common knowledge, make sure you cite it anyway. Don't just assume that your audience is smarter than they actually are. Okay, so off my soapbox with that. So now we're going to enter our name and course information. So this would be a little different than what you're used to, or you might be used to it if you've taken an English class. So we're going to put the student name, instructor name, course number, course name, and paper due date. So I am my own student and my own teacher. Oh, look how talented I am. So my first name is Jason, then we got Felt. Then we're going to press enter, Mr. Felt. It's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing. Now we're going to go with digital information technology because that is the course name. Those of you who are in the future, if this has changed because it's done 3 times since I've been teaching, don't put that down. Okay, the paper due date. As of October 30th, 2017, and you'll be working on this, you should be starting it November 1st. We're going to assume that November 3rd is the due date for this assignment. So we're going to go November 3rd, 2017. So if you're in the future right now listening to this, ask me what your due date is. And put that down, don't put this down. Okay, so we're done with that, so we pressed enter. Now we're going to press the center button so we can go ahead and start our title. The other way you can do that too is if you just click in the center, it should take you to the center, or close to the center. There you go. And then you're good. But we're going to do left align because that's simple. Okay, I'm sorry, we're going to center align. My bad. All right, now our title is safely using headphones and earbuds. Okay, so we went ahead and started the paper with setting up the header, your name, and the title. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to play a little bit with keyboard shortcuts, displaying rulers, and entering the text.